Ready to waste a few more precious minutes of your life with me in this very necessary public service of emotional oversharing?
Good.
Because today's story is favoritism, family betrayal, questionable parenting choices, and a plot twist that still makes my eye twitch. So grab a drink.
Sit down.
And stick with me, my friends, because this story starts painfully small and ends very loud. And before we go any further, do the internet thing, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with that friend who always says, that would never happen in my family.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly, at least to yourself. What would you do if you found out your own mother drained your entire savings account to give it to your sibling? Not for an emergency. Not for medical bills. Not because the house was on fire. Just because they decided your sibling mattered more. Hold that thought. You're going to need it later. I was 17 years old when my entire understanding of my family collapsed. And no, it didn't happen during a screaming match. No dramatic confrontation. No slammed doors. It happened on a phone screen. From the time I was 15, I worked like I had rent to pay and kids to feed. Weekends as a waitress, smiling until my cheeks hurt. Weekdays cleaning houses after school, while my friends talked about parties and road trips. They talked about fun. I talked about shifts. Every dollar I earned went straight into savings. I didn't buy new clothes.
I didn't go out.
I didn't treat myself. Because I had a plan. And the plan was called getting out. That money went into a bank account I believed was mine. I checked it constantly, like someone guarding treasure. Those numbers weren't just money, they were freedom. By 17, I had saved $23,000. To me, that was winning the lottery. That afternoon, I came home early. And there he was, my younger brother, Lucas. The golden child. The family miracle. He was standing in the living room with the biggest grin I had ever seen, holding a thick envelope like it was a trophy. I got in, he yelled. And Mom already paid my tuition. My stomach dropped. I didn't say a word. I went upstairs, closed my bedroom door, opened my banking app, and there it was. Zero. Nothing. Completely wiped. I refreshed the screen, logged out, logged back in. Still nothing. My heart started pounding so hard it felt physical. I ran downstairs. Mom, my voice was shaking. Where's my money? She was in the kitchen, stirring a pot, completely calm.
Too calm.
I used it for your brother's college, she said without turning around. He needs it more right now.
Just like that.
No warning. No conversation. No permission. What do you mean you used it? I said. That was my money. I worked for 3 years for that. She sighed. That sigh parents use when they think you're being dramatic. You're strong. You can work and pay for yours later. Lucas is younger. This is his chance. That's when my dad walked in. Perfect timing. Always.
It's already done, he said.
Don't make this bigger than it needs to be. I looked at him, waiting, hoping. He has more potential right now, he added. We need to support him first. And that's when it clicked. This wasn't about money. It was about priority. There was a favored child. And it wasn't me. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I went upstairs and packed.
Clothes.
My old laptop. A notebook. Then I pulled the cash ID bin hiding under my mattress. Money they didn't know existed. $900. That was it. My entire net worth. I left the house at 3 a.m. Everyone asleep. Like nothing had happened. I left a note on the kitchen table. I don't need to be the favorite to prove who I am. Don't look for me. And just like that, my friends, everything changed. If this story already hit a nerve, hit like and subscribe because we're just getting started. The first weeks were brutal. Cheap hostels. Shared rooms. And yes, 2 weeks sleeping on a park bench. No glamour. No inspirational quotes. Just survival. I got a job in a tech company answering support calls. Minimum wage. Tiny room. Barely enough food. At night, I studied coding using free tutorials. I slept 4 hours. Sometimes less. Every line of code was a promise to myself. I am not going back. And slowly things started to shift. Take a breath, my friends. Because if you think leaving home with $900 was the hard part, oh no, that was just the opening presentation. The first few months weren't inspiring. There was no trust the process energy. No cinematic montages. There was exhaustion. There was hunger. There were nights staring at the ceiling wondering if ID completely ruined my life. I worked customer support at a tech company, taking calls from people who were furious because their software was broken. Spoiler alert, it usually wasn't. I smiled. I apologized. I absorbed other people's stress like it was my full-time personality. And when my shift ended,
My real work began.
I opened my beat-up laptop and studied. Free tutorials, forums, YouTube videos recorded by people who definitely needed better lighting. I learned to code the way you learn to swim when someone throws you into the ocean. Panicking, flailing, and very motivated not to drown. I slept 4 hours a night. Sometimes 3. Sometimes none. And still, every morning I got up with one clear thought. I am not going back. 6 months in, something small happened. But to me, it was massive. My manager called me into his office.
We've noticed your performance, he said.
You learn fast. How would you feel about taking on more responsibility? It wasn't glamorous. No big raise. No applause. But it was trust. That night, in my tiny rented room, I cried. Not because I was sad. Because for the first time, someone saw me, without comparing me to anyone else. From there, things moved slowly but forward. I climbed one step at a time. No shortcuts. No favors. During that period, my family tried to reach me. Emails. Messages from unknown numbers. I blocked all of it. Yes, I blocked them. And no, it wasn't about punishment. It was about survival. 3 years after I walked out of that house, I was a systems analyst. I had a small apartment. Nothing fancy. But it was mine. A quiet life. A stable life. And still something inside me refused to settle. I didn't want to just survive. I wanted to build. So at night, after work, I studied entrepreneurship. Read case studies. Watch startups fail and succeed. And one day I saw it. Big companies had expensive software. Small businesses had nothing usable. There was a gap. A very profitable gap. I poured all my savings into it.
Took out a small loan.
And jumped. 8 months of nonstop work. Barely sleeping. Eating like garbage. Living in permanent tunnel vision. I built a simple management system. Nothing fancy. Nothing pretty. I released it for free to 50 small businesses. All I asked for was feedback. They loved it. Within 6 months, I had 300 paying clients. Then 1,000. Then several thousand. The system evolved. Accounting. Inventory.
Sales.
Then AI features.
Yes. AI.
Because when you're self-taught, you're fearless. Investors started reaching out. I said no to the first few. I didn't want to lose control. Eventually, I accepted one strategic partner. 5 years after launch, the company was valued at $50 million. By year 8, $500 million. And 10 years after I left home with $900. $3 billion. I was 27. I spoke at events. Appeared in business magazines. People called me inspiring.
And yet,
there was a quiet ache. Not for money. For acknowledgement. Then the email came. From Lucas. Subject: we need help.
Urgently.
My heart raced. I expected illness, tragedy. Instead, I read about debt, bad expansion, a collapsing company. My father's business was failing. They needed $2 million to survive. And here is where I pause and ask you, what would you have done? Ignore it? Celebrate the karma? Help quietly? I chose something else. I decided to help, without letting them know it was me. I called my lawyer.
I want to create an investment fund, I said.
Nothing can be tied to my name. Long pause. Are you sure? He asked.
Completely.
A week later, the fund contacted my brother. They accepted the meeting, and I decided to attend. Different hair, different look, contacts. I introduced myself as Regina. The day of the meeting, I saw them walk in. My father older, tired. My mother thinner. Lucas no longer a kid.
They didn't recognize me.
We talked business.
Mistakes.
Risk.
Then I asked about me.
We have 2 children, my father said. A son who works with us and a daughter who left 10 years ago. Why did she leave? I asked. Silence. Family disagreement, my mother said. Difficult decisions. Do you miss her? I pressed. My father looked down. Every day. That hurt more than I expected. I told them I'd think about it. 1 week. That week, I barely slept. I could invest and disappear. Or I could face the truth. And deep down I knew what I wanted. I scheduled the second meeting. This time at my office. 25th floor. Glass walls. City view. When they arrived, they were nervous. I stood with my back to them. Regina? My father asked. I turned around. No disguise. No filters. It was me. Silence. My mother covered her mouth. Lucas whispered my name. My father went pale.
Hi, I said.
It's me. I was the investor. I was the company. I was the daughter who left with $900. Let's pause for half a second, my friends. Because this is where 10 years of silence finally start talking back. No one spoke. Not my mother. Not my father. Not my brother. They just stood there, staring at me like I'd stepped out of a memory they'd tried very hard to forget. My mom was the first to move. Her hand flew to her mouth, eyes filling instantly. Mariana, she whispered. Is it really you? I nodded. No smile. No drama. It's me. My father looked like his brain had shut down completely. He opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. You're Regina? That's my middle name, I said calmly. The one you never used. That landed harder than I expected. Lucas took a step toward me, eyes wide, voice shaking. You're the investor? You're the one who owns the fund? Yes, I said. And the company. And the $2 million you're asking for. I let that sit in the air. Not to punish them, but because they needed to hear it. I left her house with $900, I continued. That's all I had. And I built everything you see here from that. My mom broke down completely. She didn't cry quietly. She cried like someone who finally understands the weight of a mistake.
I'm so sorry, she said.
I didn't know, I swear I didn't know. I raised my hand gently.
Please.
Let me finish first. I sat down at the table. They stayed standing, like kids who'd been called into the principal's office. For 10 years, I said, I asked myself if I'd overreacted. If leaving was too extreme. If maybe I wasn't enough. My father finally found his voice. That was never true. I looked straight at him. Then explained to me why you took my money without asking. Why you decided my brother's future mattered more than mine. Silence again. My mom spoke, voice small. We thought you'd be okay. You were always independent. Responsible. Lucas needed more help. I nodded slowly. Exactly. I was the one who could handle it. So no one felt the need to protect me. Lucas stared at the floor. I took that money, he said quietly. I didn't question it. I thought it was normal. And was it? I asked. He shook his head.
No.
And I've regretted it ever since. That cracked something in me. Not open, but enough to let air in. My dad stepped forward, voice trembling. There isn't a day that goes by where I don't think about you.
I didn't look away.
Then why didn't you look for me? He hesitated. We thought you didn't want to be found. Or I said softly you thought it was easier not to try. Because trying meant admitting you were wrong. No one argued. If this part is hitting close to home, pause and hit like.
And subscribe.
Sometimes stories like this find people who need them. I took a breath. I didn't come here for revenge, I said. I came for closure. And for a decision. My dad looked hopeful. Are you going to help us? I nodded.
Yes.
I'll invest the $2 million. Relief washed over their faces, but it didn't last. With conditions. They straightened immediately. First I said you will repay the $23,000 you took from me. Adjusted. With interest. Not because I need it. Because it was mine. They nodded without hesitation. Second, I turned to Lucas. You will create a scholarship fund for students who don't have family support. Every year. For 10 years. Lucas swallowed hard. I'll do it. Third, I continued family therapy. All of us. Not to assign blame, but to understand why this happened. My mom nodded through tears. And the fourth condition. I paused. I want back into your lives. Not as the girl who left, but as the woman I am now. With respect. No comparisons. No favoritism. My dad stepped closer, eyes glassy. I am proud of you, he said. I always was. I just didn't know how to show it. I didn't respond right away. Some words arrive late, but they still matter. We signed the papers. Before they left, my mom hugged me. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. People love neat endings. Hugs. Smiles. A lesson wrapped in a bow. This wasn't that. After that meeting, we didn't suddenly become a happy family again. No group dinners. No holiday photos pretending nothing happened. What we had was something messier and more honest. Distance. But this time it wasn't abandonment. It was adjustment. For the first few weeks, my dad called like he was walking on glass. Short conversations. Careful tone. As if one wrong word might send me disappearing again. My mom sent long messages. Apologies layered on top of explanations, layered on top of guilt. I didn't answer all of them. And that was okay. Lucas surprised me the most. He showed up. Not with speeches. Not with excuses. Just consistency. One afternoon, he texted, I never thanked you for not destroying us when you could have. That's when it hit me. Helping them didn't make me weak. Setting conditions didn't make me cruel. Forgiveness didn't erase the past, but it gave me control over it. Because this story was never about money. Or even favoritism. It was about what happens when families decide who needs help. And who can be left to figure it out alone. For years, I was the strong one. The capable one. The one who would be fine. And Harris, the truth, no one likes to say out loud. When someone is labeled as the strong one, it usually just means no one is protecting them. The company kept growing. The scholarship fund launched. Real students. Real lives. Real opportunity. And my family learned slowly, uncomfortably, but genuinely. We're not perfect. We never will be. But when I walk into a room now, I'm not the one who left. I'm not the difficult one. I'm not the backup plan. I'm the daughter, the sister, and the woman who built everything she has from $900 and one terrifying decision. And now I want to ask you something. Really ask. Have you ever been the one who could handle it? The one expected to adapt while others were protected? What would you have done if you were me? Comment, my friends, I genuinely want to know. Hit like if this story hit close to home. Subscribe to the channel because here we don't sugarcoat family stories, we tell them honestly. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away and build a life so solid that when you come back, you're standing on your own terms. See you in the next story.